Welcome to the Get Over Yourself podcast. This is author and athlete Brad Kearns discovering ways to be healthy, fit, and happy in hectic, high-stress modern life. So let's slow down and take a deep breath, take a cold plunge, and expertly balance that competitive intensity with an appreciation of the journey. That's the theme of the show. Here we go. The Get Over Yourself podcast is brought to you by Almost Heaven, beautiful compact home use sauna kits, ancestral supplements, grass-fed organ meats in a capsule, DNA Fit, genetic testing for custom diet and exercise recommendations, Integro Health, high-potency liquid probiotic called Flourish, Organifi, organic powdered superfoods, delicious green, gold, and red powders, Wild Idea Buffalo, sustainable, grass-fed, beyond organic, real ketones, clean burning ketones for athletic performance and fat loss. And check out the bradkearns.com/shop page. That's my personal selection of favorite products for health, fitness, and peak performance. And here we go with the show. Technological progress is great. Advancements in science and medicine are great, especially when you get sick and need an operation. And the robot does a great job reading the x-ray and removing the tumor from your body. Oh my gosh, advancements in medicine and medication and all those things, fantastic. But at the same time, we are living in an era of hyperconnectivity, non-stop digital stimulation, overstimulation, constant overstimulation of stress hormones. Be open to doing crazy stuff, like finishing your shower with a couple minutes of cold water because it's good for you, and not being so addicted to comforts, conveniences, luxuries. Our genetic expectation for health is to live according to the rising and setting of the sun. That means wintertime, we laid around and slept a lot because when it got dark, we got tired, we went to sleep. Summertime, we're able to get out there and be more active and enjoy the long days of summer. But we're stuck in this pattern now of artificially lengthened days year-round. I want to enthusiastically recommend DNA Fit, cutting-edge genetic testing to deliver a personal profile that will guide your fitness and nutrition goals. So simple, you spit in a tube, mail it off, and soon you get by email this super cool infographic where it delivers all these important insights and elements of your genetic profile at a glance. How you metabolize carbs, caffeine, vitamin D, lactose, and much more. My exercise profile was mind-blowing because it revealed my genetic muscular makeup to be 54% power strength and only 46% endurance. As a lifelong endurance athlete, I've been banging my head against the wall, training in a manner that was in conflict with my genes. Don't wait 20 years making mistakes like I did. Find out what diet and exercise patterns are most aligned with your genetics at DNAfit.com. This stuff used to be super expensive. It was a few $100s. Now it's pennies. Not really, but it's a great deal. And you get 30% off if you just put in the code GOY30. Check out everything at DNAfit.com. Hey listeners, thanks for listening to the podcast. I hope you're getting all kinds of life-changing insights and informations on all the cutting-edge topics. But I thought we would do a couple shows starting at ground zero with some basic life-changing advice, tips, ways to get started in a positive direction. Share the show with someone you love who deserves it. I said deserves instead of needs. Don't tell people they need anything or they will be immediately closed off rather than open. And we have everything we need because we have food, clothing, and shelter, right? So people are deserving of a better life, including you, right? So spread the word. But I was inspired to do the part 1 and part 2 basic life-changing advice shows by a chance encounter while shopping in my hometown in Los Angeles at wonderful Whole Foods in Tarzana. Bumped into Nick Young there, Swaggy P, one of my favorite NBA players. Threw that pic up on Instagram, yo. And on this particular evening, it was hearing my name called from across the salad bar area by an old friend, Mindy from high school. And oh my gosh, it's been 36 years. Can you believe it? We dropped our shopping baskets, looked at each other, and couldn't believe that either. Yeah, time flies. You're young and carefree, pretty much healthy, taking that stuff for granted. And then, even though we both still look great, you look great. So do you. Hey, all right. Still smiling. What a big smile she has. I love bumping into old friends like that. But, you know, life goes on. Time passes. You have to deal with real life challenges and most likely some health and personal challenges. One personal challenge we had to deal with that night was that Wendy got her shopping basket stolen because we were talking for so long. We had to go track it down. Anyway, I noticed a tattoo on her arm and it said, "Love you more than life." And I said, "What's up with that?" She was talking about her beloved pet that she nurtured and had a great life with for many years and finally had to say goodbye to. Thank gosh we have the decision to say goodbye to pets when it's time rather than humans where we have to endure and suffer through some of those demises that aren't so pleasant. Anyway, this gets us to the topic of real life circumstances and issues and watching the pain and suffering going on all around us and even in ourselves as we age. And it don't gotta be that way. Right, everybody? Right, Brad. So, time to start thinking about this stuff. I mean, we're in our 50s here, me and my high school brethren. How about in your 40s? How about in your 30s? How about any time? Time to start taking action. And here's the thing, little changes make huge, massive difference. You like that analogy they're talking about with the sailboat, where if you set sail from San Francisco to Hawaii, like my former podcast guest, Martin Bronze, winning that race across the ocean. But if you're like a half a degree off your chartered course, you're going to miss Hawaii by like 800 miles or something like that, right? So think about that. When you lock into good, healthy lifestyle patterns, they make a massive difference over time. And when you're a little bit slack and you slip and you have habits like introducing excess artificial light and digital stimulation after dark, these things add up to terrible over years and decades. So the show is going to be about starting from scratch and getting your mind right and then taking some simple, actionable steps that aren't involving a lot of time, energy, pain, or suffering, just charting the course on target for a long, healthy, happy life, hopefully free of pain and suffering or with as minimal as possible. What's that concept? Mark and I talked about it in the book Keto Longevity. Yes, it's called compressed morbidity, said Brad with a very smooth pause of the recording, so it seems like everything is on the tip of my mind. Yes, this concept called compressed morbidity, advocated by Dr. James Fries of Stanford, longevity expert. It means delaying the onset of debilitating illness for as long as possible, such that whatever hits will arrive around the time you might be expected to die anyway. Oh my gosh, my dad is doing just that right now, and it's a beautiful finish line because he's 97 years old. And yeah, he's got an assortment of health challenges and disease conditions and decline, but he didn't have them when he was 67 or 77. In fact, when he was 67, he shot a 66 400 par at Lakeside Golf Club. Very, very difficult course in Los Angeles. Shot his age about 2,000 more times before he stopped playing golf recently. So that is the goal, man. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Take action today and go for this concept of compressed morbidity. You know what Mark Sisson calls it? Diligent readers of the Primal Blueprint 21-Day Total Body Transformation know. He calls it live long, drop dead, right? What can be better than that? You certainly want to go when it's your time after a very long, healthy, productive life. And that's exactly what the hunter-gatherers did, right? There was no such thing as a long, steady demise into disease, weakness, and death. They had to be at full strength. They had to be strong and healthy because the clan was not capable of looking after dead weight. You had to make a contribution because it was life or death survival circumstances. And also we didn't have modern medicine to keep people alive for 23 more years with type 2 diabetes or the other disease states that we can now manage with medicine, but it leads to a very poor quality of life. So live long, drop dead. Strive to compress your morbidity curve by taking action right away. Number one, I would say, is your mindset. So now if you're taking notes, write down number one is get your mind right by acknowledging that modern life is in trouble. Yeah, technological progress is great. Advancements in science and medicine are great, especially when you get sick and need an operation. And the robot does a great job reading the x-ray and removing the tumor from your body. Oh my gosh, advancements in medicine and medication and all those things, fantastic. But at the same time, we are living in an era of hyperconnectivity, nonstop digital stimulation, overstimulation, constant overstimulation of stress hormones. We're living in an era of electromagnetic fields. And if you talk to extremely highly respected and knowledgeable health sources like Dr. Joseph Mercola, certainly you've heard of his health website, one of the most popular ones on the internet. He is big time, extremely concerned about the adverse health consequences of electromagnetic fields. That's your wireless router blasting your brain, your cell phone at your bedside. Oh, you know what the worst is when you're in an urban area, like, I don't know, visiting a hotel room or somebody's apartment and you log on to wireless. Hey, can you give me your password? And there's like 47 other wireless connections that your computer is picking up. Well, your energy field is picking those up too. We're doing better in general about our consumption of processed foods and avoiding some of these highly toxic disease-producing agents like the high polyunsaturated refined vegetable oils. The trans fats and the hydrogenated fats are quickly getting removed from the food supply, even though the big food manufacturers put them in there for years and years before the pressure finally became too much. So we're trying to turn the corner, or most people are. I think a certain percentage of society is asleep and not reflecting on this at all. They're just going to the drive-through, getting their food, sitting down for their digital entertainment, and stuck. So we want to get unstuck and aware of all the health challenges in daily life. Light after dark is such a big one. There's a beautiful book called Lights Out, Sleep, Sugar, and Survival, talking about the adverse health consequences of introducing artificial light and digital stimulation after dark. Our genetic expectation for health is to live according to the rising and setting of the sun. That means wintertime, we laid around and slept a lot because when it got dark, we got tired, we went to sleep. Summertime, we're able to get out there and be more active and enjoy the long days of summer. But we're stuck in this pattern now of artificially lengthened days year round, which put us in a sugar craving, fat storing mode from our genetic hard wiring. Why is that? Think about it. Back in ancestral times, when would we be craving sugar and storing fat? That's right, in the narrow ripening seasons of the fall time period. When the fruit's ripe, we're going to stuff our faces because we have a genetically programmed sweet tooth in order to survive those long, harsh winters when we may or may not have food. So we're programmed to binge on carbohydrates and store those calories as fat through hormonal processes calibrated to circadian rhythm of the long days of summer. That's a good thing for our Paleolithic ancestors trying to survive winter. And it's a very bad thing when year-round we're basically stuck in summer mode. So many other examples of struggles and problems today. So the first one is to get your mind right and be ready and willing to make some changes to your beautiful, comfortable, modern life in order to promote longevity. I just heard an interesting quip today, listening to yet another show on cold exposure, cold therapy. And the quote was something like, when we constantly keep ourselves temperature comfortable, we are eliminating that hormetic stressor upon the body. And when we eliminate the assorted hormetic stressors that have promoted health and longevity for millions of years, we compress our longevity accordingly. The body likes to be stressed and challenged in an appropriate manner to hone those adaptive hormones Dr. Art Devaney calls it sending a renewal signal to your genes. So when I plunge in my cold tub in the morning and get my body exposed to near freezing water temperatures, I am sending a renewal signal to my genes. Same with when you go to the gym and conduct a workout, or when you get hot in the sauna, or many other examples of hormetic stressors. Those are brief, positive, natural stressors that promote health and longevity, as opposed to, let's say, the chronic stressor of blasting your eyeballs with light after dark during times when you should be winding down and allowing the sleep process to take hold. So if we want to acknowledge that modern life is out of balance and not contributing to our health, and be open to doing crazy stuff like finishing your shower with a couple minutes of cold water because it's good for you, and not being so addicted to comforts, conveniences, luxuries, eating too much food, thinking that's a decadent vacation when you go on the cruise ship. Why not just go to 1 meal a day instead of 3 and enjoy the heck out of that meal and spend the other time exploring the Hawaiian Islands or the Mediterranean, wherever your cruise is going? We don't have to go to excess to receive the joy and the pleasures of modern life. All right. Is that enough bantering about getting your mind right? I thought so. Okay, so exiting this step number 1, you got to believe, like Justin Bieber, no matter where you are right now. I don't care if you're dealing with disease, overweight, obese, bad blood factors, high risk category. No matter who you are, where you are right now, completely unfit, let yourself gone to heck since your all-star days as a high school athlete, whatever it is, you can turn things around very quickly, day by day, one step at a time. So you got to believe that you can turn things around. Quit verbalizing and referencing those self-limiting beliefs and negative statements, knee-jerk rationalizations, and coping mechanisms that are not serving you anymore. Can you think of some examples? I can. Oh, I'm so busy these days. I don't have time to blank. That's a big one. Or, yeah, I used to blank, 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 but blank, 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 blank. Forget it. Just do the best you can with the tools you've been given, and we march forward. So, you ready? Number 2 is an easy one. Clean up your diet, mate. Get rid of that crap. Grains, sugars and sweetened beverages, and refined, high polyunsaturated vegetable oils. Those are the big 3 offenders in modern life that are leading to widespread disease, dysfunction, accelerated decline of the human. Dr. Lauren Cordain, author of The Paleo Diet, communicates the stat that 71% of the calories in the standard American diet, the typical modern diet filled with processed foods and junk foods, 71% comes from modern foods that are completely foreign to our genetic expectations for health, namely refined grains, sugars, and vegetable oils. So we want to go on a 21-day Primal Transformation. You can take that course. Just go to bradkearns.com, click on the link. You'll learn all about it. It's taking you through a step-by-step series of challenges, not just diet, but also the exercise and the lifestyle stuff. But whatever it takes, just ditch grains, sugars, and bad oils for 21 days and start the cleanup process going. You'll feel great right away. In its place, you don't have to worry about any crazy keto journey where you're measuring macros and getting obsessed about your food intake, but just replace those heavily processed foods with colorful, wholesome, nutritious foods. Later on, we can talk about advanced strategies like going keto or experimenting with different fasting periods and things like that. But the main goal that we want to do out of the gate is to escape carbohydrate dependency and progress toward fat adaptation. That means we are skilled at burning stored body fat for energy in the absence of these regular feedings of high carbohydrate meals that we have stuffed down our throats for our entire lives. That is an absolute disaster at the hormonal, genetic, and metabolic level. That's setting the stage for lifelong accumulation of excess body fat, bad blood values, and disease patterns taking hold, most notably type 2 diabetes, which is growing at an accelerated speed that's disastrous to the extent that it could bankrupt the U.S. Treasury by 2060 if rates continue to climb at the current speed. Okay, so cleaning up your diet. Also, along with that, make meal times a special experience. Rather than choking down food on the go and envisioning food as fuel for the gas tank, for the carbohydrate-dependent gas tank, you view food and meals as one of the great pleasures of life and really enjoy the experience and make it a special experience. So you're mindful, you're not distracted, you don't have the TV on, maybe even out of the gate for the first 21 days, you're not even reading the newspaper or a magazine, you're just chewing your food carefully, and you're activating parasympathetic nervous system function instead of sympathetic fight or flight nervous system function. The nickname for the parasympathetic nervous system is the rest and digest nervous system function. So calm, relaxing meal times will help you digest and process the food and assimilate it successfully for energy in your body and get rid of that sugar burning, sugar craving activation that comes with the sympathetic fight or flight nervous system. That's number one, diet. Number two, really simple. Don't worry. Don't brace, as Dr. Alicia Goldstein would say, is just move more. I didn't say get in the gym and get your lazy ass in there and do some classes or throw around a bunch of heavy weight. Just move more in daily life. Fitness experts are now realizing that increased general everyday movement is very likely to be more important and more valuable than adhering to a distinct workout routine of devoted fitness efforts. All you got to do is JFW. That's the nickname we use in the book Keto Longevity. Stands for just effing walk. So, implementing strategies, because it's so easy to avoid walking and avoid movement in daily life, implementing strategies, purposeful strategies where you get your walking done every single day. If you have a dog, raise your hand. Don't you owe it to your dog to at least get them out there for a walk twice a day? It's a great motivator to get you out there walking morning and evening. If you don't have time for your dog, you don't deserve to be a pet owner. What a disgrace. Take care of the animal, give it the energy and movement that it needs, and do the same for yourself. Okay, so that's the first objective, is just effing walk. There are other forms of movement which fall into this same category. Stuff like doing a set of deep squats at your cubicle every hour, maybe hauling off a set of pull-ups when you walk by the bar in the side of your yard when you're going to throw garbage in the trash can, or implementing strategies where you're getting assorted forms of movement done in daily life. That includes the formal movement practices like yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi. So that's your number two objective. First, clean up the diet. Number two, increase general everyday movement. And then, of course, number three is exercise and getting into a workout routine. Why is that important? Is because we have these prolonged periods of stillness and sedentary existence today. So we have to actually create reasons to move the body and to exercise and to lift heavy things and sprint once in a while and engage in cardiovascular exercise. Unlike our ancestors, who all these things were woven into the fabric of daily life. They had to lift heavy things to build shelters or get their food for the day. And of course, they had to sprint once in a while. And they got plenty of cardiovascular exercise in the course of their hunter-gatherer lifestyle. So today, what we want to do is throw down those three primal blueprint exercise laws with a strategic blend of structured cardiovascular workouts. Want to make sure to adhere to the aerobic heart rate guidelines communicated by Dr. Phil Maffetone, his MAF formula of 180 minus age in beats per minute. That is the suggested upper limit for your cardiovascular workouts, for them to qualify as a low-stress, energizing, invigorating, fat-burning session. So if you subtract your age from 180, let's say I'm 54, for example, so my aerobic maximum heart rate would be 126 beats per minute. At that point, I am achieving maximum fat oxidation per minute with a minimal amount of anaerobic stimulation or glucose burning. So I'm getting a great fat burning workout. It's very, very easy and very comfortable pace. And that's the key factor, is that when you're burning fat and getting an aerobic session, a proper aerobic session, it's not stressful or strenuous. In contrast, when you exceed that aerobic heart rate, which is so common in the group exercise classes or the training clubs where you're into a charity-based marathon training program or joining any group activity out there, people like to routinely exceed that maximum aerobic heart rate and fall into what we call black hole heart rate zone or chronic cardio exercise patterns. And these, over time, can be stressful and fatiguing. You'll find yourself catching a cold or getting an injury or craving sugar in the evening after that vigorous morning workout in spin class or in step class. So we want to keep things comfortable with our cardiovascular exercise for the most part. Once in a while, of course, anything's okay. But generally speaking, you're keeping your heart rate at 180 minus age or below. Absolutely critical out of the gate for the basic approach to fitness. So adding to the regular movement and the cardio workouts at the proper heart rate, we want to get some strength training in. We want to put our muscles under a resistance load regularly. Lift heavy things. Could be machines, could be free weights, could be stretch cords and tubes, or it could be just your own body weight with the primal essential movements. But it's critical to put your body under load for the rest of your life so that you preserve bone density, balance, muscle strength. These are the critical longevity factors that are so egregiously ignored by people who don't do any resistance exercise whatsoever. It can be as simple as doing deep squats in your cubicle and starting today with doing a set of 10 or 20 deep squats, whatever you can manage, holding a plank position while you're watching TV, right? So you're doing sort of assuming a push-up position and just locking into place there for as long as your abdominals can take it. Those simple sessions will make a huge difference in your longevity potential. In fact, there's great research from Cooper Institute in Dallas, Texas, and then a large study of firefighters correlating one's performance in the 1 mile run as a very, very strong predictor of longevity, perhaps even better than blood values and other medical attributes. If you can run a decent mile time at age 50, you have a very strong likelihood of making it to 80 unscathed. In contrast, if you cannot hit these bare minimum standards, you have a very high increased mortality risk. Ditto for push-ups. So the firefighters who could complete 40 push-ups or beyond had excellent longevity potential. And if they couldn't complete 5, they had a very extreme mortality risk. So we want to get our push-up game on point, and we want to get our mile run performance. Not saying you got to go be a runner and finish 5Ks and 10Ks, but you should be able to complete a mile. This is at age 50 was the research coming from. You should be able to complete a mile in a respectable time. Here we go with some times. Males, superior category, exceptional category, 8-minute mile or below. Females, 9-minute mile or below. That's pretty fast. Don't joke. Try it yourself. Go to a running track, run 4 laps, see if you can do 2 minutes per lap, and you are rocking as a 50-year-old male. Of course, runners would scoff at this, and they can run many miles at 8-minute pace, but that's just a very small segment of society. So whoever you are, if you can get down to those superior times, that's great. Now, the bare minimum threshold to promote longevity and avoid disease and decline, males 12 minutes, females 13 minutes. So if you head out to the track and you can't complete 4 laps in an average pace of 3 minutes each, or 3 and change for a female, you are in the thumbs down category, and we don't want that for you. So we want you to get more JFW, just F and walk. That'll improve your mile time, and then put yourself under some stressful peak performance load once in a while. The sprint workouts were the third component of the Primal Blueprint fitness goal. So once in a while, you want to go really hard for very short duration and just work that upper end. Whoever you are, even if you're a novice, even if you don't care about performing in the adult basketball or soccer league, you want to conduct explosive short duration sprints once a week, maybe once every 10 days. That's all you need to do is work that top end a little bit. If you don't have the resilience or the experience to do high impact sprinting, running on the ground, you can do this on an exercise bicycle or a rowing machine or an elliptical or other cardio machine. But you want to up the speed to maximum effort. And again, only for 10 to 20 seconds duration, never longer than that. So we sprint once in a while. We conduct a couple strength training sessions a week, lasting from 10 to 30 minutes. We also throw in these mini sessions where you're talking about doing some planks while you're watching TV, doing a set of deep squats at your cubicle, and all manner of other options and ideas where you're just going for ways to be fit and active during the day. So that was number 3, getting the Primal Blueprint fitness objectives done. Number 4, prioritizing sleep. We talked about this at the outset, minimizing artificial light and digital stimulation after dark, absolute top priority in your life. Why? Because your exercise and your dietary efforts will be compromised if you're not getting enough sleep. Insufficient sleep will push you back in the direction of sugar cravings, fat storage, carbohydrate dependency, overly stressful lifestyle practices. Of course, it'll compromise your fitness endeavors and your ability to perform and recover successfully from your workouts. So putting sleep at the forefront, best thing you can do is just tone things down after dark. Get your screen use done earlier in the night and reserve the last hour or 2 for wind down, calming activities like socializing, walking the dog around the neighborhood, reading with a minimal light source, toning down all the light sources in your home, wearing those cool looking blue blocking UV protection lenses at night, and just minimizing your exposure to light, getting into a bedtime ritual, such as taking a warm bath, getting into your pajamas, lighting some candles, writing in your gratitude journal, things that trigger a peaceful transition into a good night's sleep. That does not include slamming the screen shut after one more show than you thought you would watch late at night and then expecting your body to sleep successfully. So dark, mellow evenings, and then getting your sleep environment dialed in so that your bedroom is a special place, a sanctuary that is used just for sleep and a few more things, as B.rad would say, sexy time, but definitely not for any form of work. No piles of papers or bills. We want to get rid of all the clutter. We want to have peaceful, calming surroundings. We know from Gretchen Rubin, Marie Kondo, the decluttering experts, that merely looking at a pile of junk or an unfinished home project will trigger a stress response. I write about this a lot more in the book Keto Longevity. So the importance of tidying up and having psychological calmness, especially when you walk into your bedroom. Of course, your whole house would be great too, but keeping that bedroom tidy and also completely 100% dark as you can possibly get. That means getting blackout curtains. That means taping off or unplugging all those annoying little LCD emissions and the power charging lights that can light up a room. Your body is very, very sensitive to light sources at night, and it needs absolute pitch dark. If you're a techie science geek, go read the blog post from Dr. Jack Kruse, where he goes through an entire 24-hour day and the hormonal processes that are going on. And he says from 12 midnight to 3 a.m. is when the growth hormone pulses out and does all kinds of repair and regenerating activities. And even a little bit of light source can throw that off. So we need to be in a dark cave, especially deep in the night, but we can't have anything disturbing that. So if you have to get up, put a flashlight by your bed or some other way to have a minimal light source to get you over to the bathroom or whatever you need to do. But we want a pitch dark room and we want it at cool temperatures. Sleeping is associated with a lowering of body temperature. That's why we don't want you doing a hot, sweaty workout and then trying to go to bed an hour later. So the lowering of body temperature, the room should be between 60 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Simple, dark, cool, calm, mellow, like a cave, huh? And then on the flip side of that, as far as good sleep hygiene, is when you get up, hopefully near sunrise. That's when our hormones are calibrated to awaken and give us energy. The mood elevating hormones like dopamine, serotonin, and even cortisol in a desirable way spike in the morning and get us going for the busy day. And those are associated with exposure to sun. So the ideal morning routine would be awaken near sunrise and get yourself exposed to direct sunlight, no sunglasses, get your eyeballs exposed to sun, your skin, and get into a movement routine right away. So moving, breathing, stretching. You can look on YouTube for my morning flexibility, mobility routine that I do as soon as I wake up every single morning, followed by a cold plunge. That's a winning morning routine for me. But the key point is to try to get some sun exposure, and that will entrain your circadian rhythm to do a good job the following evening, winding things down for you and getting melatonin release on cue soon after it gets dark or you make it dark in your environment. So that's your sleep hygiene. And that is a lot to tackle and absorb for a basic life-changing advice show. But man, if you can nail these objectives, you are most likely 80% of the way toward your longevity potential. That's from Dr. Peter Attia. A prominent concept in the book Keto Longevity, coming soon, is this guy is at the very cutting edge of longevity medicine and research and doing all the crazy self-experimentation that he's done. And he wants us all to relax, take a deep breath, and realize that just grabbing what he calls is the low-hanging fruit will get you most of the way there. It's as simple as that. If you only listen to one show the rest of your life, listen to this show over and over and nail these big 4 objectives. Ready for the summary? Number 1, get your mind right. Get your mind right. Acknowledge that we have a problem here, and the luxurious, decadent, comfortable, lazy-ass modern life is not contributing to your health. It's compressing your lifespan. You want to enjoy life? Get some cold showers once in a while, you know? Okay, so open mind, ready to receive and make changes. Number 2 is to clean up that diet. Get rid of that junk. The grains, sugars, and refined vegetable oils, the nutrient-deficient modern food. Transition over to colorful, wholesome, nutritious foods. Let's not get into the diet wars yet about keto or vegan, vegetarian, or carnivore. Which one's better? Which one's terrible? We want to talk about eating wholesome, nutritious foods and getting rid of the junk. Calm, relaxing meal times falls into that same category. So number 2 is clean up the diet, eat well. That's what we'll summarize it as. And then move more, JFW, just frickin' walk more, and find other ways to engage in daily movement, especially chances to break up these prolonged periods of stillness, which contribute to insulin resistance and decline in cognitive function. Translation, you feel tired, groggy, unfocused, lazy, and hungry for sugar when you sit at your desk all day. You got to pop up and walk around, do some deep squats at your desk. So increased general everyday movement is number 3. Number 4, exercise. Nail those primal blueprint fitness objectives. It doesn't take long. It's not stressful. It's not depleting or exhausting. You just have to put together a strategic blend of comfortably paced cardiovascular exercise, 180 minus your age and heartbeats per minute, a couple strength training sessions per week, and a bunch of miniature strength training sessions a week where you lift a heavy weight a few times and then go about your busy day. And once in a while, a sprint workout where you work that top end, but only for 10 to 20 seconds at a time. And of course, avoid those chronic patterns where your heart rate is too elevated and you conduct too many workouts that are quote unquote kind of hard, from Dave Scott. Finally, your sleeping habits. Minimize your exposure to artificial light and digital stimulation after dark. Engage in calm, mellow, wind down rituals in the evening, walking your dog, playing cards, reading a book, visiting with friends and loved ones. Okay, and then your sleeping environment is a sanctuary. It's austere, Spartan, tidy, it's dark, and it's cool. a great place to sleep, and then in the morning, awaken and expose yourself to direct sunlight and engage in a movement ritual. Pretty simple. Out of the gate, we're raring to go. It sounds fun. Go for it. Do it. Send me your feedback. getoveryourselfpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening to the basic life-changing advice. Please share the show with people who deserve it. Dun, dun, dun. Thank you for listening to the show. We would love your feedback at getoveryourselfpodcast@gmail.com. And we would also love if you could leave a rating and a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. I know it's a hassle. You have to go to desktop iTunes, click on the tab that says ratings and reviews, and then click to rate the show anywhere from 5 to 5 stars. And it really helps spread the word so more people can find the show and get over themselves, because they need to. Thanks for doing it. Hey, how about a backwards commercial? Are you ready? So go to OrganifiShop.com and enter the discount code BRAD for 20% off your order. That's ORGANIFI shop.com. Why would I do something as silly as a backwards commercial? It's because I'm positive you have to try this stuff. Trust me, order some now. It's going to change your life. Organifi is an organic superfood supplement company. They're known for their greens. You take them when you travel, get all your nutrition. But I like their top secret Organifi Gold warm relaxation beverage. This is the single best tasting tea you will ever try in your life. So if you want something soothing, delicious, nutritious at the end of your busy, productive day, pour yourself a scoop of Organifi Gold. What's in there? Turmeric, the anti-inflammatory superstar, is the base. And then, listen to this, smooth coconut milk, cinnamon, ginger, lemon balm, and 2 super mushrooms. It's legit. It's delicious. Check it all out at OrganifiShop.com. And don't forget to put in B.rad for 20% off. Try Organifi Gold. If you're not totally satisfied, send it back to me and I'll keep it.